Hi! Thank you guys for checking out this video. I am Kristina with Askamontessorian. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here in Prescott. It's been raining on and off. It was hailing at my house earlier. Overcast skies. Those of you who know me, this is my absolute favorite kind of weather. I started to begin to love snow, but not nearly as much as I enjoy rain. You know, living in Flagstaff. Anyhow, I'm grateful to be here in Prescott with my family. I wanted to share a video today on circle time. So this video is more directed toward maybe parents who are homeschooling, focused on Montessori, or teachers who are in the Montessori classroom, or even teachers who are in a preschool classroom and they're interested in adding some different concepts to their circle time. I had the best circle time. I had so much fun with the children. The parents would come and tell me what the children talked about at home, and they were so excited. Anyhow, it was lots of fun. So one of the things that we did, and mind you, I'm AMI primary trained for 3 to 6 year olds, in case this is your first time watching. So my circle time is based on the idea that the 3 to 6 year olds are not quite abstracting yet. So it's in Montessori, they call it the absorbent mind until the age of 7, and the child is developing their personality. Therefore, it is crucial that you're careful what you expose them to prior to losing their first tooth, or around 7 years of age. You can kind of see it's like a spectrum. It's hard to, that's not the right word. It's a gray area. It's hard to tell when exactly they're abstracting, because they may abstract on some concepts and not abstract on others, and basically they'll start to use their imaginations a lot, and that's a really good indicator. There are several second plane characteristics that you can look up, Montessori second plane characteristics, and once those start to come to life in the child's environment, and you notice that they're developing those skills, then you know they're abstracting. So anyhow, my circle time. I love to do yoga. And I want to start off. Okay, I was evaluated by an AMI consultant my first year teaching. It was, well, technically it was my 4th year teaching, but I had been floating, and I'd never actually led a classroom before. So it was my first year as the lead directress. And she was not happy with my circle time. I will say, if you look at Montessori theory, circle time is not necessarily following the child. It's more ego-centric with the teacher, if that makes sense, because Montessori is about observing the children to see what it is they're passionate about, and then creating an environment where they can flourish in those passions without interruption. So you want them concentrating for as long as possible. That's why we have the uninterrupted 3-hour work cycle. So my circle time was between 15 and 25 minutes, and she wanted it to be more like none or 5. And she also wanted it to be voluntary. So I found that when you have been teaching for a while and you're excited about something, the children can feel that energy and they just come anyways. So, you know, I ended up modifying my circle time after her evaluation when I read her suggestions. However, you know, I still love circle time. What can I say? And in elementary too. I have not ever led my own elementary classroom, but I do have the 6 to 12 training, and I floated in many AMI certified elementary classrooms. And it's really awesome in elementary, because if the children have a strong circle time concept in primary, they can lead their own circle time in elementary. So you give the responsibility to the children. You make it one of their classroom jobs, and they absolutely love it. And So anyhow, 15 to 25 minutes. Sometimes it was a half hour, rarely a half hour, but I'll tell you some of the things I did. I'll tell you how I did it before the consultation, and then I'll tell you how I did it after the consultation. So prior to the consultation, I had just, had my primary training, and I was basing a lot of my classroom off of my mom's classroom. And my mom was AMI trained in the 70s, and she had a circle time in the mornings, and then she had a brief circle time before recess after the 3-hour work cycle. She was a very successful teacher for over 50 years. She has many graduates who are doing very well out in the community. And I did what I know. And so I have to check my notes, but I feel like there was a lecture in primary on circle time, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Anyhow, if you guys are AMI teachers and please feel free to comment below and let us know. But basically, what I did was I incorporated as many things as possible that I would want my child to know about, and things that I was fascinated with, and things that the children, most importantly, things that the children had asked about during the day while I was giving lessons and whatnot. And so one of the things that we enjoyed doing, I was raised in Catholic school, and we had current events, and a lot of schools do that, right? They'll have like a TV in the classroom, or the teacher will go over the current events once a week, something like that. And so what I would do is I would bring in a copy of the newspaper. Now, mind you, this was in 2009, so it was quite a few years ago. But the children knew what a newspaper was, and they enjoyed looking at it. We would do that 2 days a week. We would open it up. I would talk to them about things that I felt were appropriate. I always read it beforehand and checked for things that were really fascinating. We would talk about, we were in Phoenix, Arizona at the time, so we would talk about current construction going on. We would talk about latest movie release, G-rated, of course. We would talk about, I would give them a very brief G-rated idea of what's going on worldwide as far as current events. Nothing too graphic. I kept it very simple. We would talk about other countries, and then we would look at our world map, and some of the children would stand up and show us where the other countries were. I always did something like that with current events. We sang the days of the week, we sang the months of the year. Animaniacs, which is a cartoon that was on in the early to late 90s when I was growing up, they have a YouTube video of the 50 states. And so sometimes we would make up our own songs about what it was we were learning. So for instance, if we were learning about mammals, we would make up a song about mammals. We would make up songs about the 50 states or the capitals. We would make up songs about the presidents of the United States throughout history. We did a lot of things based on nonfiction, if that makes sense, because that's a foundation in Montessori until the age of 7 when they start to use their imaginations. Something physical, we did brain gym. We also did yoga, and we had a recital in winter and a recital in spring. And the winter recital was based on the changing of the seasons. So we sang songs about different seasons, and we sang traditional Christmas songs. We sang some Hanukkah songs, dreidel, dreidel. And we sang a song about Diwali. I always enjoy getting to know the families in my classroom, because then I can talk to them about their heritage, and we sing songs that the children would sing when they were growing up in their culture that they're familiar with, so the other children can get to know the children. And it's like a family. Your classroom really is like a family. It's so beautiful. And so the winter rehearsal. So we would sing, we usually sang in the afternoons, but sometimes as we were approaching the actual recital, we would sing during the morning circle time. And then we always sang at least one song in morning circle time. And they do that in elementary as well. You always introduce one song a week